All right. Welcome to the 2026 Dialogue, a masterclass series by the HR Association of India. I am Neha Jadnani, and today we are exploring a question that is increasingly shaping the future of work, careers, and hiring. As AI continues to transform how organizations operate, the conversation is no longer simply about whether AI will replace jobs. It is about how the AI is changing the skills organizations value, the way they assess talent, and ultimately who gets hired. So, our theme for this session today is AI won't replace everyone, but it will change who gets hired. To explore this important conversation today, we are joined by Manu Saigal. Manu is the country manager, India at Hayes, with over 20 years of experience in business transformation, P&L leadership, and strategic workforce solutions. Known for her inclusive leadership and client-centric approach, she has led high-impact teams, managed complex stakeholder relationships, and driven innovative growth strategies across sectors. A certified ITIL Foundation, V3 and CoBit professional, Manu holds a degree in electronics and communications from Mysore University and PGPMax from ISB Hyderabad. Manu, thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure having you.
And thank you for having me, Neha. It's a pleasure to be here, especially on such a timely topic. AI has gone from being a technology conversation to a workforce conversation. I think every leader, every candidate, every employer is asking some version of the same question. What does AI mean for the future of work? So yeah, I'm super excited about our conversation today.
Sure. Thank you so much. Looking forward to some exciting perspectives today on this timely topic, as you said. So, to begin with, Manu, AI is changing the way organizations work and hire. So, from your experience, I want to know what does an AI-ready candidate look like today, and what are employers increasingly looking for when assessing talent?
Yeah. Um, I think there is a I think there is a misconception that AI ready candidate is someone who can code or build AI models or has a certification in artificial intelligence. That's actually not what most employers are looking for. For me, an AI ready candidate is someone who is comfortable working alongside AI and using it to improve their effectiveness. And I'll probably just quote an example here. I recently came across, two candidates interviewing for similar roles, and both had very comparable experience on paper. What stood out wasn't their CV, but it was their preparation. One of the candidates of the two had used AI to understand the company's annual report, went through the recent industry developments and the likely business challenges. He arrived with very thoughtful questions and a point of view, and the other candidate had prepared in a more traditional way and focused largely on his own experience. I think in that the difference wasn't the intelligence; it was how effectively they leveraged AI to deepen their understanding, and that's what AI readiness looks to me. Very what's fascinating is that AI is actually helping reduce the experience gap. A graduate today can use AI to gain access to knowledge and insights that previously might have taken years of experience or years of exposure to acquire that knowledge. So obviously, while experience still matters, but I have seen younger professionals contribute meaningfully much earlier because AI helps them learn faster and comes to, you know, um, they are coming prepared for the conversations and they're coming prepared for the discussions that they are involved in. So that's what I think the employers are increasingly valuing. That's a curiosity, the adaptability and the judgment. The questions probably today are: can you learn quickly? Can you use AI responsibly? Can you challenge what AI gives you rather than blindly accepting what it throws at you? So, AI definitely can generate a lot of answers, but it can't replace judgment. So, uh, an AI ready candidate, it's not necessarily an AI expert. There's somebody who has embraced AI as part of how they work and learn. So if I were to just summarize that in a statement, um, AI ready candidates don't just know how to use AI, they know when to use it and when not to use it. So that's what it is in a nutshell.
Sure. Thank you so much for beautifully summarizing it. I loved how you started that there is a misconception that an AI ready candidate is somebody who has certifications or is an expert.
Yeah.
But the larger picture is it should be somebody who is comfortable with AI, has curiosity, had the ability to judge when to use AI, when not. And great example there, which clearly shows that there is intelligence, but there is also the leverage of AI that was done very smartly done, and it's appreciated. More in a workplace, more than somebody who is a pro at using a technology. So thank you so much. And last point, of course, where you said that can you learn quickly? Can you have the ability to judge? And AI is helping reducing that experience gap in today's time. So thank you so much for that. My next question, Manu, is are companies actually hiring fewer people because of AI, or are they simply looking for a different combinations of skills? What capabilities are becoming increasingly critical across roles and industries?
Yeah. So Neha, from what we are seeing, it's more about a shift in the skills than a dramatic reduction in hiring, right? So most of the organizations, they're not suddenly saying that we need fewer people. What they are saying is that we need people who can deliver more value. Now, if I pick example from my own industry, let's talk about workforce, or let's talk about recruitments. A few years ago, um, the recruiters spent a significant amount of time manually, searching databases, screening the profiles, drafting those communications. Today, AI can assist with much of that thing. But interestingly, the clients are not saying that they need fewer recruiters. They're asking for recruiters who can actually provide market intelligence, talent insights, workforce planning advisors, the strategic guidance. So the administrative work is reducing, no doubts about it. But at the same time, the advisory work is increasing. I work with a lot of global capability centers in India, and when we speak to them, the conversation is rarely about replacing employees with AI. The conversation is usually about increasing your productivity. It's about accelerating the innovation. It's about helping employees operate at a higher level. They are still hiring, and some of them are hiring aggressively. But the nature of the roles, that's evolving. They're probably looking for individuals who can work alongside technology rather than compete with it. And the same is happening across finance, marketing, HR, operations, and all sectors and industries. I guess that's one thing that is common across. The routine tasks are becoming automated. The higher value work remains very human. And that brings us to the skills that are very critical today. We're talking about uh, critical thinking, we're talking about problem solving, data literacy, adaptability, learning agility. That's something that's becoming very, very critical. What I find interesting is that employers are hiring more for potential than ever before. 5 years ago, probably, experience was the main differentiator. Today, many employers are asking, can this individual learn and evolve as the role evolves? That's becoming just as important as what they have already done. So, that to me is where we stand today.
Oh, thank you so much. Very well said. I think experience at some point is also becoming outdated. It's very important that a leader has that learning agility, adaptability to the rapidly changing technology in today's times, and nature of roles, as you said, are changing. So you need somebody with a potential to change with time and somebody who is comfortable with the technology as well. So thank you so much. My next question, Manu, is for freshers and young professionals entering the workforce, what can they do today to make themselves more employable and relevant in the AI-driven job market?
Yeah. Honestly, Neha, I think this is one of the best times in the history to be starting a career, and that's a very bold statement I'm making. When many of us entered the workforce a few decades back, if you wanted expertise, you had to find a mentor, you had to undergo some coaching, attend a lot of training programs, spend years gaining that experience. Today, a young professional, a graduate, can use AI to learn almost anything and almost instantly. So I think my advice largely for four key things. One, start using AI every day, not occasionally, but daily. Use it for to research industries, to prepare presentations, to improve your writing, to analyze information, to learn new skills. Second is develop domain expertise. I I think AI gives everyone access to information, but employers still value people who truly understand an industry, truly understand a customer, or truly understand a business problem. That's super valuable to the employer. Third is work on the communication skills. Ironically, as AI becomes better at generating information, the ability to communicate clearly becomes even more important. And finally, build evidence of what you can do. Create projects, share ideas, solve a problem, build a portfolio. Um, have a use case for yourself, and I think these are the four key points that I would like to share with young professionals. If I was a graduate entering the workforce today, I would be using AI to build things. It could be as simple as a presentation, a market analysis, a business case, or even a small research project. Employers increasingly want evidence of initiative. Do you really understand what you're presenting? Um, and a candidate who can say, here's a project I built to solve this problem, often stands out more than someone who can only talk about their qualifications, right? So the people who succeed won't necessarily be those with the best of the degrees. They will be those who show initiative and are continuously learning. Uh, I think that's my take on that.
Oh, thank you so much, Manu. So, just to summarize, using AI for preparing and upskilling, developing domain expertise, then industry knowledge becomes very, very critical. Working on the communication skill in order to articulate your knowledge and creating projects, sharing ideas, building your portfolio, it presents a strong case for yourself in today's times. So, thank you so much for those advices. My next question, Manu, is as AI increasingly handles repetitive and technical tasks, are human capabilities such as communication, creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence becoming the new differentiators? And how important are these skills in hiring decisions?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no second thoughts about it. In fact, I think we are entering an era where human skills become more valuable, not less. Right? AI can process information incredibly fast, but there's certain things it doesn't do well. What it can't do is build trust. It doesn't motivate a team through uncertainty. It doesn't understand the organizational politics. It doesn't sit across the table from a client and develop a long-term relationship. And just think about, I think all of us would have one example of a great leader that you would have worked with. Think about that. Some of the best leaders that you worked with, um, you probably won't remember them because they were technically brilliant, right? You probably remember them because they inspired confidence. They communicated very clearly and made good decisions when things weren't very obvious. And those are deeply human capabilities. I often tell people that AI may do some of the work, but humans will increasingly be responsible for judgment. And judgment is built through experience, through empathy, through critical thinking. So, yes, absolutely, I believe communication, creativity, emotional intelligence, and a leadership will become even more important in times to come, probably sooner than we think it would be. Like I was quoting, when we are in a business and when you're managing certain business, not everything goes according to plan. And occasionally there are difficult client conversations, some unexpected challenges, some escalations, moments where expectations need to be reset. In those situations, nobody will ask what AI recommends, right? What matters at that point in time is your credibility, your trust, your empathy, your communication. Um, those are the moments where human skills become invaluable. So, yes, as artificial intelligence, AI becomes more available, I think human intelligence becomes more and more differentiated. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. So, no matter at what pace AI transforms the workplaces, it's the human capabilities that will be even more critical in those times. And a great example there, when you think of a leader, you remember how they made you feel, how they pushed you to be confident, even more so than how talented they were or how tech savvy they were. So, thank you so much for putting it forward. This brings us to the last question, Manu, which is, if AI tools become equally accessible to every candidate, what do you believe will ultimately determine who gets hired and who gets left behind?
I, I think this is probably the most important question of all. Um, if everyone has access to the same AI tools, then access is, no longer the differentiator. And I often compare that, to Google. Um, we all had access to Google for years, right? Yet some people consistently produce better outcomes than others. And why is that so? Because because having access to information has never been the competitive advantage. Knowing how to interpret information and act on it is the real advantage. I think AI will follow a very similar pattern. What will separate people is how effectively they combine AI with their own capabilities. People who get hired will be those who demonstrate adaptability, curiosity, ownership, um, business acumen, learning agility, right? So, like I mentioned, for example, if the two candidates use ChatGPT or Copilot to prepare for an interview, one might just memorize the answer. The other might use it extensively to understand the company, analyze the industry trends, anticipate business challenges, and prepare very thoughtful questions. So the same tool, completely different outcomes, right? And that's why I don't think AI creates a level playing field. I think it amplifies the differences between people. The candidates who stay curious and keep evolving will move faster than ever. The ones who resist the change will find it harder to remain competitive. So my belief is very simple. The future belongs to people who can learn continuously, they can think critically, and use AI as an accelerator rather than a substitute for thinking. So that's my take on it.
Sure, thank you so much. Beautifully put. Access to information has never been a differentiator. It's how you interpret the information and act on it. And AI, the combination of AI plus your own capability will be the real game changer for people, even if everybody uses AI to show up for an interview. So, thank you so much for your insights, Manu. This brings us to the end of this masterclass. And I thank you for your time and candid insights today. I think this reinforces the fact that the candidates who stand out may not be simply those who know AI, but they know how to combine technology with human capabilities, curiosity, judgment, and critical thinking. So, thank you so much for putting your thoughts together today.
Thank you so much, Neha, and always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much, Manu. My pleasure. Thanks a lot.